Hi, my name is Ivy Starnes, and I'm a gaited horse trainer in Fort Worth, Texas. Today we're talking about how to train your horse to stand still at the mounting block. I get asked this question a lot, so much, and the reason I think it's super important to talk about it and do a whole live video is because it's one of the most vulnerable positions we can be in. Sure, whenever we ride a gaited horse, we're always in danger. That is very true. But anytime we get on or off, we're in a position that if the horse were to jump or move suddenly, we could get very seriously injured, from having our ankle blown, our knee, our hip, to being dragged. All of these things are very dangerous, and that's why it's super important to make sure you do a good job training standing still for mounting and dismounting. And the good news is it's super, super simple. I'm going to actually be showing you the videos of me training a horse and working with him, as well as what do you do when the horse moves off while you're doing the training. And so you can do a really good job training your horse. Now, here's a tip. It does involve using treats, but you can use treats, you can use grain, you can use alfalfa pellets, you can use carrots, you can use apples. It just has to be something your horse wants to eat. Now, ideally, it's not something that he goes crazy for, so pick something that he will happily eat a bunch of, but doesn't go nuts for. If you have a problem with your horse mugging, please check out links in the description. I'll have the video of how to keep your horse from mugging, and you can train that as well. But even if you have that trouble, at the beginning, you train this and you use a lot of food, but as your horse gets better, you only use one treat once you get on and then the horse stands still. Now, also, I'm going to include a footage of how to train the horse to side pass to the mounting block. Now, this footage is incomplete. It shows a very quick process and not all of the problem-solving things that you would have to come up with. I have more complete videos on my private training group, which you don't have to join because this video is going to give you an idea. But more importantly is training the horse to stand still and wait for you. And you're going to see this horse at the beginning does well, and then when I try to put my foot in the stirrup, that's when he decides to take a step. And so I show you at the beginning, how to work with this horse when he takes that step. How do you correct it? How do you train him to stand still? And you see that this horse does a really good job of learning and standing still for the next time. I think this is so important. Please share this video if it helps you at all, because so many people get injured getting on because the horse moves off and they can't get their foot out of the stirrup quickly. Okay, let's see. We've got some people. Lynn watching from Middle Tennessee. Hey, Lynn. And Hazel from Central Iowa. Terry from West Virginia. Bliss from Pennsylvania. Crystal from Ohio. Melanie says she has a mugger. Well, good. I've got videos for that. Chrissy says hi. Hey, Chrissy. Pamela says my guy is a huge mugger. Excited to get him past this. Thanks very much for the awesome videos. And Jane says hi from Virginia. Excellent. So we're going to go ahead and get started with the footage of the mounting block. And you'll hear the audio from it, but I'm going to be telling you as I'm watching it. And I'll also point out some places where I make mistakes, where my timing wasn't good and I should have stopped and praised, and I didn't. So be aware of that. And so here you go. So you can see here that this is, he's a mix. We don't know quite what his breed is. He's a gaited horse. First, do not put the saddle on. If you put the saddle on, you will be tempted to get on, and that is not what you want. You want to take this as slow as possible. You want to walk your horse as close to the mounting block as they're comfortable and start feeding treats. Feed the treats out in front. Do not let the horse turn his head to come to you or to the treats you have in your pocket or your hand. I have him in a treat pouch, and you see I bring it and feed it to the horse, and I haven't asked him to do anything other than stand here. Now you'll notice I took one step up, got down, and gave him a treat. Repeat this. Repeat, 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 repeat. Keep your sessions short. These videos, for the most part, are 2 to 3 minutes long, and that is the extent of how long each session is. Make sure the horse is comfortable. If he's not comfortable near the mounting block, take him as close as he is and start there and give him a treat and walk away and come back. Now, he was super comfortable standing next to it. There was no problem. And I'm walking up. I'm making sure I'm stepping on the mounting block so you can hear the thumping. You should try to be quiet. Step up, step down. If you're a slower person, and I do not mean that to be offensive, if you don't move as fast as I do, that's okay. Slower is better. We want him to be willing to wait and stand there. And I jump down on purpose. I want him to get used to someone hopping down movement with my arms. I'm not trying to stay super still, but I take my time. If you step on the first step and that's when the horse moves off, then you need to do a lot of feeding when the horse is just standing there. And again, notice I do not ask the horse to bend his head to me to get a treat. I walk to the front of him, feed a treat down low. That's super important, okay? Do not let him turn his head to you to get a treat. If he does turn his head, just feed out in front. I climb to the top step and immediately climb down. Now this works even if you have a two-stepper or anything you improvise is totally fine. And then once you do well here, take the mounting block to other places or climb at home on other places. You got to make it a little bit harder each time. Notice the repetition here. And again, no saddle was on purpose because when you first do this the first couple times, don't put a saddle on because I don't want you to be inclined to get on. Your goal is to just teach him that standing by the mounting block is a great place to be. Touch his back, but use what we would call a high rate of reinforcement, which is giving him a lot of treats. Right? So again, I'm just stepping up and stepping down. And I probably should be up and down a little bit more often, but again, notice I don't feed a treat from up here. I give it to him once I get down. He seems pretty content to stand there. You see his body shifting. I probably should have gotten down sooner and given him a treat because he was asking or saying with his body language that he wasn't quite sure what I wanted next. And that's where we end that session. That's literally how long that session was. I didn't make it any longer. It was just that long and stopped. Again, notice purposefully no saddle because I don't want you guys to rush the process and get on. That's the part where we have to actually slow it down. Okay, lots of people on today. That's awesome. Hala from West Virginia, Monica from Colorado, Llewellyn says hello from Kentucky, Kelly says hi from Arizona, Carolyn says hi, Beth says hi from Virginia, Terry says California. Yes, Terry, I'd love to come out to California. It probably won't happen this year, but hopefully soon. Valerie from Maryland. Carolyn says, my gelding is a terrible waiter. Looking forward to seeing your video. Again, got lots more videos coming up. Sandy says in Oregon, she has one of those. Laura says hi from York, Pennsylvania. Melanie, what do you do if he turns to get a treat? Well, then you didn't, well, one, go watch my video on mugging. It shows you how to teach the horse to put their head straight. You can watch the short version, and I'll put the link in the description at the end of the video. Shows you how to do it, and then the full video is on my private training group. But if he turns his head, gently push his head away, not a punishment, not a hit him, and feed him out in front. Take your hand and stick it in front. Super, super important, especially if you're going to do any kind of clicker training. Ed's walking horses. So I assume Ed says hello from Kentucky. Peggy says Middle Georgia. She says hers thinks the mounting block is Satan on steroids. He's a work in progress. Well, so you may not be able to start as close, Peggy, but start farther away. Give so many treats. Don't even try to get on. Put the treats all over the mounting block. And for your guy, use high value treats, something that he absolutely loves. Melissa says hi from Michigan. Tara says, I wish you were closer to Maryland. I know. Melissa says hello from Manitoba, Canada. And Melanie says, okay, thanks. So that one first. Okay, yes, watch that video as I get done. So here we go. Here's the next video, which is probably, I think, just about the next day. So now I've put the saddle on him. He has the saddle on, and it's the next day. And I ask him to step up next to it and stand. And I'm hopefully position it. And I'm just checking my saddle because I'm going to probably get on. I should be giving him a treat as soon as I walked up. I have the whip because I was training side passing to the mounting block. You're going to see me ditch it in just a minute. So again, when you first walk up, give a lot of treats. All right. So I walk up and get down again. Assume that your horse remembers, but it's good to reinforce. Really praise him for just standing there. Now what we're going to see is when I try to, in a few minutes, when I try to put my foot in the stirrup, that's when we're going to have a little bit of trouble, and that's where he's going to take a step. And a lot of people, that's where they get stuck. They're wondering, like, what do I do next? What do I do when he moves around? Do I make him work? Do I back him up? Do I spin him around? Do I lunge him? What do I do? So you're going to see what I do in this video in just a minute. As I, again, continue to really praise him for standing there. And again, notice I go to him and feed him out front. For those of you asking, what do I do when he turns his head? Well, literally start by just feeding him out in front and never feeding him when he turns his head. Always put your hand out in front, feed him there. And again, check out the video on keeping your horse from mugging. That is going to be very helpful to many of you, even if you only use treats for this, okay? Again, I'm going to step up. I'm letting the stirrup down on the other side, and get down and give a treat. Now in this video I'm not using a clicker, but for those of you that are using clicker training, you can click as opposed to just stepping down and giving a treat. Now this horse is, we have to be careful because he has foundered and had laminitis before, so when I give him a treat I'm actually only giving him just a couple of pellets. For most horses I would normally give him a handful of grain because that chewing helps them. So here I'm not even sticking my foot in the stirrup, and I'm just gently touching it with my foot. Now in just a sec, you're going to see that he's going to move off when I do that, and he's done that consistently since then, showing that he's not super comfortable with the stirrup bumping his side. There's a step, and he took it away from the mounting block, so he's clearly unsure. So I stop and pet him, and as soon as he stands still, I'll hop down and give him a treat. I don't make him reposition, I don't make him lunge. I should have hopped down and given a treat sooner than I did in this video here. He was clearly unsure. I'll reposition the mounting block, step up, bump the stirrup. See, he immediately thinks about shifting his weight, but he didn't move a step, so I'll give him a treat. This is where I probably should have broken it down into smaller pieces and given him food faster. There, he walked off again. So all I did is pick up my lead rope and stop him from walking away from me. I didn't punish him, I didn't jerk on the lead rope, I didn't back him up, nor did I make him spin in circles. I just stayed very calm, so I'm even petting him. No treat for that. But there's nothing wrong with what he did. He's trying to figure it out. So what I decide to do, I believe, is reposition. So again, I'm not making him work, and I'm not expecting him to line himself up. I'll line him up and or move the mounting block. Now he's clearly comfortable near the mounting block, which is good. And again, I'll answer any questions once this short clip is done. And again, I've got more clips coming about how to train them to side pass to you on the mounting block, so stay tuned for that if you're getting bored. So I gave him a treat. He repositioned, I gave him another treat. Step up. Make sure the lead rope there. See, I barely touched the stirrup and got down and gave a treat. So I'm trying to break it down just a little bit. Step up. And before I even bump the stirrup, he moves away. So I'm petting him to reassure. What I should do is give a treat, but see how he's really leaning away from me on the camera? He's not sure, and he he's either nervous about me getting on, or he thinks that he's supposed to walk off right when the feet touch the stirrup. So I'm going to reposition again, and what I should have done is, what I'm going to do in just a minute, is stay on the ground and bump the stirrup with my foot, to teach him that it doesn't mean go anywhere. But notice I'm not punishing him, as it were. I'm not getting after him for moving. He's unsure. Remember, anything that a horse does is giving us information. So there I walked up and just picked my foot up. I've worked with some horses that when you go to get on the mounting block, as soon as you lift your foot up, they move off. And so here I lift my foot up, put it in and out, and get down right away. So I'm not trying to make him move. I'm trying to catch him standing still before he moves, before he takes that step off. Foot touching him, and he started to move off, but I stopped soon enough, but it was pretty close. Step up, bump, bump, and get down again. Now, again, my goal is not to push him so hard that he moves off that I have to reposition. Rather, I want him to stand there as much as possible and reward. So there I pushed too much. My fault. He wasn't quite ready for me to bump him that much. So don't punish him. Now, he doesn't even know how to reposition. There he backed up a little, which is very nice. He's trying very hard. And you see he's staying nice and relaxed through this whole process. Again, if this is a day where it's windy or your horse is upset, spend more time just standing by the mounting block. But don't put your foot in that stirrup too soon if your horse is inclined to move off. Just step on the mounting block. Now, that was my fault. I accidentally bumped his mouth with my hand when I went to give him food. You want to try to feed calmly and quietly, and that was my fault. Again, I'm pushing him a little bit too fast. This is my fault. So what I'm going to do is I'm walking toward the camera so you can see a little bit. And I wanted him to be a little bit side on. I'm going to have him step, there we go. So you can see that I'm going to take the stirrup, I'm going to just bump his side, and I'm not trying to hit him hard, just enough that he can feel it, and reward him for not moving. Bump, bump, bump. Give a treat for not moving, to simulate kind of if my foot was going in the stirrup. And I will still take as much time as this horse needs so that he learns standing there is the right thing. Now the feeding treats, the chewing, it's all helping horses to stay calm, because when they chew, they're usually releasing endorphins rather than being stressed out. and it gives him something to do other than be stressed about other horses or anything else that's going on. So you can see he's doing really well now, standing there, his head's coming down. That's excellent. And notice, I still go to the front of him to feed, just like that. Okay? So then I'm going to go reposition at the mounting block. And again, there's no punishment for him walking off. It's all a matter of praising him for doing the right thing. Horses don't learn when you punish them for the wrong thing. They learn when you praise and reward the correct thing. So hopefully he won't move off and I can end the session very quickly, because this has been about 5 minutes, which is possibly a little bit too long. Now notice I didn't put my foot in the stirrup. I climbed to the top step and then got down and gave a treat. Bump, bump. And he didn't move, so I'm going to hop off and give him a treat. And I'm pretty sure one of these times I give a big jackpot of a treat when he stands still. So that is how I would begin having you guys all work with your horses. You need a little bit of treats that they like. If they're terrified of the mounting block, get some really good treats. Don't push them. The goal is not to make them run in circles. All right, let's see what we have. A bunch of people say hi. Okay. Christy says, what do you do when the mounting block is not movable? That's a great question. Well, so first, in the next video I'm going to show you in just a minute is how to train a horse to side pass to the mounting block. Now, keep in mind, this is a short video, that it isn't a full training video, so it's not going to show you the full problems that are going to come up. But one thing I'm going to stress is what you see me training. The training I'm about to do is not based on hitting the horse. Getting the horse to side pass to you won't happen by just hitting him harder and harder. It's going to come by training him to step towards you, which doesn't come from hitting, okay? So many people see me literally in person at a clinic and I say, don't hit the horse hard, and they start hitting their horse hard and the horse dances all around. The goal is calmness. Take one step and stop. Please hear me using this, all right? Okay, Chrissy says reward the good, ignore the bad. Absolutely, especially in this case, since nothing dangerous is going on, you just want to reward standing still. Reward it, reward it, reward it so much. Julian Kelly asked, when would you use the clicker? You wouldn't use it when getting up necessarily. So if I climb on the first step, I'd click then and get down and give it. Or I'd climb on the second step and click and get it and give it. Or like if I was touching the stirrup, I would move my foot against the stirrup. When he didn't move, that instant I'd click, then get down and give a treat. Regina says hi from Memphis, Tennessee. Hi, Regina. I actually have 2 of the horses that I bought are going to be spending the night in Memphis, Tennessee tonight. Carrie says that's exactly how I got my boy to stand. Excellent. Regina says, how would you approach it if your horse doesn't always walk away, but sometimes she does? Same thing. It doesn't matter if they don't always walk away. Reward for them standing there. Using the side odd method didn't work. He wouldn't move when I tapped, just looked at me. Okay, so I'm not quite sure what you mean there, Carrie. Using the side odd method didn't work. So watch this video. If you have more questions, I have more training videos on there, or I'm happy to talk about them. I'm actually have a lot of footage. I'm going to be putting together the training video of the full training video showing a bunch of different horses on how to train the horse to side pass to you. Nancy says, it's a good idea to teach move over to the mounting block from both sides. Yes, Nancy, it is a great idea to teach that. I don't always, but I have taught it to horses. Once you teach one side, usually it takes about 15 minutes and then they'll get the other side super easy. Oh, Carrie says side pass. So Carrie, I would like to know more information because it does work. I've used it on a gazillion lazy horses as well as high energy horses at the clinics. It's usually the most impressive looking thing that I do, even though I can train the horses to gait. Training them to side pass the mounting block is super easy. This horse is going to make it look easy. Your horses are going to be harder. This is just a demonstration. So please keep that in mind as we start watching this. That full video is on my private training group and I'll be coming out with a DVD of that soon. So same horse. Here's the thing. I do this usually in a halter. You can do it in a bit later. The goal is to gently tap at the beginning just to get him to move his feet. If your horse is really lazy and will not move, I don't do it with this horse because he's very sensitive and very responsive. I will swing really hard and hit the ground. I won't hit the horse hard, but I'll swing the whip to try to get them to move their feet. So I'm going to tap gently. Most horses at the beginning move their butt away, just like he's doing. So I just gently continue tapping. I do it against a rail so that he can only go so far. Do not do this in the middle of an arena. And then watch for the slightest lean or step towards you. Right there was a big step toward me, so right there I'm going to give a treat and take a breath. Give him a chance to think about that. Now, most horses take a little bit longer. And when you first ask, just hold the whip above them. Now, yes, I know my dog's a little bit in the way. Sorry, I'm not thinking about all of those things when I'm doing the video and training. There, he took a big step forward, almost right into my dog, and then big treat. Now, the amazing thing is I checked with the owner. He's never had this done before. This is his very first session. So he's a little bit of a prodigy, which is why I don't want you to base all of your training off of this video, because he makes it look so easy. Very gentle taps. So do not tap harder. If your horse is lazy, you can tap a little bit harder, but better to get the energy up and swing the whip really hard into the ground rather than tapping the horse harder. I also try to tap the spot on the butt just behind the saddle because rarely is there any other cue there. And a very gentle tap initially, and what you'll see very quickly is we replace the tap with just holding the whip up, and then we replace the whip with just our hand. The tapping should never be very hard, and it should never sting. There is a really good step toward me. He's doing just amazing. Really nice. Again, if you're starting out, keep the horse pointed toward the fence. Now there he backed up, which is not the answer. And again, this is his very first training session to do this. Tapping gently. He may move away here. I don't remember. That's normal. It's all right. So I'll either gently tap. So there, I'll gently tap. Keep it gentle. Don't tap any harder. There, he stepped over. Right there. Stop and reward. Keep this session short. This training video is, I think, just at 3 minutes, which is an excellent length for the very beginning. And there he stepped sideways. Look at that. Very nice. Make sure you give breaks in between asking. Let him have a chance to... I should have given him a longer break there. That's my bad. So here he's going backwards, so I ask him just to come forward rather than keep backing up. Gentle tap. I don't tap harder. There, look at that good control. You can tell he's absolutely thinking through it. So that's excellent. Now I've got 3 more videos to show you guys. It's a long video, but bear with me. This is a large topic to cover. So let me answer any questions here. Okay, Melanie says, is your subscription Facebook page geared mainly towards gaited? Mainly towards gaited, yes, but I have bridleless, liberty training, basic horsemanship, as well as specifically gaited. But most is gaited, but a lot does include bridleless and liberty that is not available for free. Regina says, where are your horses staying? We always have overnighters at our barn, Rain Tree. I'm not sure, Regina. I can check really quickly at the end of this and maybe message you. So I don't remember where they're staying. They're traveling with Megan. So, all right, next video. Stay tuned, guys. Remember, if this video helps you, please share it. Part 2. So this is the next day. He has a saddle on now. Same thing. We start out right here, halter. I'm just going to hold the stick up and I wait. Right there. See how he stepped over? I didn't even have to touch him. And he stepped right toward me. Again, the big thing is people think that the cue is tapping him and tapping him harder gets him to move. That's not it. The trick is to stop and praise when they move the correct direction. The fence helps us because they can only go so far before they have to stop. And then we are patient. We wait and wait. And usually it's that first 5 minutes when this horse, again, is a prodigy. Most horses take a lot longer to get that first couple of steps, but if you are patient and don't hit the horse hard and praise them, and I've done this without treats, if you praise them for that step over that first time and let them stand and think about it for 60 seconds, you will be amazed at how quick your horse picks this up. So there he took a few steps over, but then he was very quick to bring himself right back to me, which is awesome. Notice I'm just leaning against the rail. Nothing's tight. We're trying to stay nice and relaxed. You got a break right there. And again, he wants to turn his head. Keep him pointed toward the fence. I'm just going to hold the stick up, and he stepped right over. Now, he is backing up a little bit, which is going to be a little bit of an issue in the future with getting him to stand still, which is why I kind of waited. See, I didn't reward right away. I waited till he stands still. wait, and then right there, all of his feet were still. I gave him a treat. Now, this training session is just at about 2 minutes long, so I want you to see how quick it is and how short these sessions are. That's super important as well. If your horse is lazier, you'll often have a harder time, but again, be very patient, ask for just one step, and you're going to get it. Again, remember, this horse is a prodigy, and he just learns this so fast. Deborah says hello from Merritt, British Columbia, or BC, yeah, Canada. Okay. And Regina says, where are your horses staying? Okay. Christy says, I'm going to try this with Callie and see if she's a prodigy. Oh, Callie might definitely be a prodigy. Okay. Video side passing part 3. This is now trying at the mounting block. So now your horse has got it at the wall, but now you need to ask for it in other places. And this is the part to be very patient, because initially they are going to move away from you, and then we need to be really quick to praise when they stop moving away. So again, I'm going to run the stirrups up so they're not in the way. And my lead rope's extra long, so just be careful if you have a long lead rope. So again, I'm not trying it at the mounting block yet. First, I'm going to try away from the mounting block, so there's no pressure to get on. So see how he moves away? When he does, I just hold the whip above him. I'm not tapping him. See that? Tapping him harder doesn't make them come to you. There he stopped and stood still, so I give a treat. Because again, initially most of the horses will move away from you. So there he moves away. So I just gently press down with the whip, and there he stepped right over. I wasn't tapping him. Tapping him usually makes them go harder. That's what a lot of people lose patience. They're like, come on, darn it, horse, you know what I'm asking, step towards me. But they don't yet. So here I just hold the whip above him, I gently tap, and there he took a big step toward me. So again, notice I feed him in front of me. I don't let him come to the treat bag and stick his nose in it. I feed in front. Now I just hold the whip up. There he moved away, so just wait. Wait, wait, wait. Gentle touch. Barely touch him. And then he stepped over right away. So he's trying so hard. Again, this horse is a bit of a prodigy. He's doing fantastic. I'm also training this horse right now, which is pretty awesome. Nope, so there he's just turning. So I'm just going to put his head straight. Not trying to punish him or correct. Just asking to put his head straight. Yes. There he side. Look at that. That was perfect. He didn't try to go the other way. Big side pass right toward me and then was still. So again, this is the shortened version. The longer versions are, there's some more longer versions on my private training group as well, but I've done this at clinics as well. I've got a lot of people that have taken horses home that now know how to side pass to the mounting block. There's a step over right there. Again, I'm not asking him to line up perfectly. There. And I'm going to get down and praise. I don't know why I didn't praise the previous time. I should have. And again, keep the session short. This one's just under 3 minutes. I think I'm going to stop the video. Stop right there. I've got one more video to show you where we put it all together. And again, the reason I'm spending so much time on this is it's super important for your safety. Regina says, hi from Ontario, loving this video. Christian says, hello from Pennsylvania. I taught this to Willow using a clicker. That is so awesome. I love getting videos of this and showing people what this looks like because it happens so fast. Now, a lot of people are used to the technique where you are like on a mounting block and you tap the other side of the hip and you tap, 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 tap until the horse finally moves toward you. I find this particularly frustrating for me and the horse, so I don't use that technique, nor do I recommend it. Tia says, hello from Denver. Hey. Okay, last video, this is the last session and putting it all together. So this is going to be 2 videos together. It's a little bit longer. This one's about 6 minutes long, so bear with me. This is a long video today. Now, there we go, side passing toward me. Look at that, he's got that down. Now we now have a bit in his mouth. He can eat with the bit in his mouth, no problem. He's saddled up and ready to go. This is kind of just a refresher to make sure that even with the saddle and the bit, he's paying attention and that he'll step toward me, which he does like a champ. So just a refresher, and I waited for him to stand still before I gave a treat. Perfect. So here, we walk over to the mounting block. Again, this is part 4 of training him to side pass to me. So I'm going to ask him to step over. So first he moves around. Remember, don't start tapping just because he moves away from you. Tapping doesn't mean anything if he's already moving. Only if he's standing still. So again, he's moving around. So I gently press with the whip. Gentle taps. Gentle taps. Hold on to the rein, so he's still moving his hip away, which is so people don't get frustrated with this. There, look at him step over. Immediately give a treat. Now, I probably should have gotten down to give a treat, but his head was straight. There, look at him step right to me. Beautiful. Give a treat for that. And remember, not to be in a rush to get on. The goal is to get him to line up and stand still. So many people rush this, and they get the horse to line up, and then they're dancing around because they think that they don't reward the standing still. So he's trying very hard to get himself to figure out what I want. There's a big step sideways, and then I want him to stand. Now, see how he keeps his head straight? That's awesome. Part of that is because his owner has done some really good training to keep him from mugging, which is to keep his head straight, which I've continued with him. There, good step sideways, and then I wait for him to stand still. Excellent. I should have given him a treat. I don't know why I didn't right there. That's my bad. And again, I asked him just to come forward to line up more correctly. Now look at how fast he side passed over. This horse is a very fast learner, and I'm so happy with him. But I reward and give a break. I should do also more breaks during this. I do like watching videos of myself training because I see where I rush things. Even though I'm videoing, it would be good for me to stop and just pet him for lining up right there, and I didn't. And it's good for me to see that I was rushing it. So there he backed up and stepped sideways. So I'm going to ask him just to step forward. Now, a lot of horses, when they step forward, do exactly what he's doing, which is swing his hip away. And so I'm working to train him to stay closer. There we go. And not keep backing up or not swing the hip away. And with practice, the horses I do this with, in about 7 or 8 sessions, when you walk up to a mounting block, they just line themselves up. They don't even need you to hold your hand up or put a whip. They just line themselves up and wait, which is so fun because you've rewarded them for being in the correct position. It is just so very, very fun when you get to see this. Again, they've got about 3 more minutes on this video, and then I'll finish up this talk and answer any questions. So go ahead and start commenting if you have questions. And please, if this video has helped you or you know someone will help, please share this video so that more people will learn to train their horses to stand still and will have fewer injuries around the mounting block. Also, here's a tip. If you cannot get on your horse with the mounting block, you should double check whether you should even get on or not. If your horse will not stand still and you're at a group ride or you're at home, you may not want to get on. If you wait till your horse is super comfortable standing still before you get on, you're going to save you and your horse a lot of headaches and possibly a big injury because you know your horse will stand. And if they won't stand still, they're telling you something about their mental state. So now I bump the stirrup. Now he did move a step. We know that that's a little bit of a trigger for him, is when we bump the stirrup, he tends to move off. So I bump the stirrup against him, give another treat. Again, I'm going to continue doing this with him so that he learns to stand even while we're getting on. I'll bump him with my leg. I want him to be super solid with getting on, because if I can get him where he's so relaxed when the rider gets on, we're going to start the ride out correctly. See how much I'm giving him? High rate of reinforcement because this is a tricky spot for him. Lots of treats for doing this. And again, he's only getting 1 or 2 pellets when I'm doing this. So he's lined up. I bump it, and see, there's a difference for him that when I am on him, he side passed right to me there. That was really nice. When I'm on the pedestal and bump the stirrup is different for him than when I'm on the ground and bumping the stirrup. So we're going to continue doing a lot of rewarding for bumping the stirrup from the pedestal or from the mounting block, and when he doesn't move. So bump, bump. If he doesn't move, I'm going to give another treat, because that seems to be a sticky spot. So your horse may have a sticky spot of when you lift your leg up or when you lift your foot up. Try to find those and reward before they move off. That's the big thing. Before they move off is when you need to reward them. And here, I went to get on, but he moved away. So don't follow them with your foot and try to throw yourself in the saddle. The goal is to train him to stand there for you to get on, and that's when they'll get a treat. So once the horse learns, I don't do tons of food before I get on. I give 1 treat when I get on. But of course, during the training, I give lots of food for them standing still, doing all kinds of things. And you, of course, can do this from both sides. Really good. He's doing so good. He's staying right lined up. If I can get on without him moving, that's when I'll give a treat. and I'll give a bunch. And pretty much for all of my horses, even when they've done this training, I will always give a treat if they stand still for mounting if I have a treat with me. Okay, so let's see about answering any questions. Lisa says, how do you make the stick with the ball in the end? It is technically an endo stick, and yes, it is a dressage whip with a Nerf ball glued to the end. Thank you, Chrissy, for answering that. Tia says, I'm going to start these exercises with Q. She's telling a friend. Bonnie says, suggestions for safely dismounting onto the mounting block if the horse sometimes moves away. So this horse stands really well. You basically do this in reverse. You do the same thing where you stop by the mounting block, give a treat, stop and stand there and give a treat and stand and give a treat and stand and give a treat, and then start to swing your leg over, put your leg back so you're sitting in the saddle square and give a treat. Then start to swing your leg over, put your leg back, give a treat. Keep doing this near the mounting block over and over. I had someone ask me because they had a horse that wouldn't stand for mounting or dismounting, and I had to walk them through the step-by-step, troubleshooting the whole thing for them. But once they did the exercise, they said it only took like 5 times and their horse stood like a rock. And all they did was give treats for standing still, for mounting and dismounting, and their horse has been solid ever since. Chrissy says, I've seen a lot of people eat dirt trying to mount a moving horse. Yes, please do not try to mount a moving horse. It shows that your horse is not ready for you to get on, and it doesn't make you look like a better rider to scramble on the horse while he's moving away. You're likely going to get injured, scare your horse, as well as anybody else around you. If you're at a group ride and you fall off your horse, you could literally just make other horses around you spook, and you won't have gotten on, and it's not a good situation. So in that sense, do this exercise at home. Do it on windy days carefully. Do it when your horse is a little bit more nervous. Start out on calm days, but make it a little bit harder. Regina says, yes, this is awesome. I shared with one of the groups I belong to, the Saddle Squad. Thank you so much, Regina. It helps me, and it helps so many other riders. I feel like I should have done this topic a long time ago because it is so important. Like Christy said, a lot of people fall because they try to get on when the horse is moving. When you get on the horse, couple things. Safety things. When you put your foot in the stirrup, you better be planning to get in the saddle. Now, for older riders, people that are slower, it's a little bit harder, but I want you to practice this. If your foot is in the stirrup, you are committed to getting in. Now, that said, if your horse is moving off, don't put your foot in the stirrup, okay? Second thing is, when you get in the saddle, you don't want to sit down hard on the horse's back. This shows a carelessness towards your horse because it can hurt them, and it might make them move off because they don't like the feeling of when you land hard. You want to control how you sit down gently on the horse, but make sure you get yourself in the saddle quickly, but slow yourself down so you don't thump hard onto the horse. Very important, because if you want your horse to be comfortable with you on him, don't cause unnecessary pain. Mia says, from Ohio, what about overweight horses? What's a good treat? So there's quite a few. You can use chopped hay. You can get chopped alfalfa or chopped Timothy hay that a lot of horses like. You can use carrots, or you can use what I'm doing for this horse. He can't have a lot of carbs, so I'm using 1 or 2 little pellets. You can do the same thing with hay pellets or a low carb treat. Just use only a couple, and it works great, especially because they're short sessions. Or if you feed the horse any grain, you can use their grain instead. Also, while we're on the subject of stirrups and safety, please consider getting some kind of safety stirrup, whether they're stirrups with a cover on the front, whether they're stirrups that open. If you don't want to get dragged, why don't you plan to not get dragged by having safety stirrups? You never know when something is going to happen, even with the best of horses. I personally ride with safety stirrups on my own saddles and would highly recommend it for anybody. Whether you have Western, endurance, or dressage, you can get stirrups that work. Chrissy says peanuts, which is another great idea. I haven't tried it yet. I'm planning to try that for food for horses that can't have a lot. So anyway, there you go. If there aren't any more questions coming up right there, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. But first, tomorrow's topic, I'll be reviewing a book called Bridleless Riding by a lady who uses clicker training to train your horse to be bridleless, and she's from England. So I will be reviewing that book as well, and hopefully showing you a little bit of bridleless videos. We'll see if that actually happens, but I'll review the book either way tomorrow. Thank you guys for watching this long video. I was considering just doing a short video that wasn't even live, but I know everybody likes to ask questions, and I can give really good feedback based on those questions with the live video. And thank you guys for watching this 40-minute video and sharing it with your friends. And I hope this helps you. If you have any questions, go ahead and let me know, and I'll try to make sure I answer them. Tia says, speaking of stirrups, looks like the leathers are on backwards in the saddle on the horse. Just an observation. They're on backwards. Tia, possibly. They keep falling off and I keep switching them. Go ahead and let me know what you mean by backwards. I have them on upside down on purpose, if that's your question. So that they don't have the bulk under my leg. Christian says, thanks for the video. Looking forward to the book review. Kelly says, thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome, Bonnie. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great week. Stay safe. You got this. Oh, and if you do any of this training and you get your horse standing still or mounting, get a video of it and send it to me, and maybe we could do a compilation of horses that either side pass or stand still now, which that'd be very fun to share. So, thank you guys so much for watching. You got this.